Guys, Dusan Vlahovic of Juventus, not for sale at any price, says the big boss at Juventus. Yeah, right. Who's he fooling? Who's he fooling? Yeah, right. Guys, welcome back to the Chelsea Godfather channel. Dusan Vlahovic, guys, as I've mentioned previously on this channel, where there is smoke, there's fire, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I've been proven right time and time again. All you have to do is just go back through my channel, guys. There's been a rumor that was put forth by Jules of ESPN, right? And Jules, basically saying, listen, through his little birds and little birdies and whatnot, that a whisper in his ear from time to time, that he was informed that Chelsea made a 80 million euro bid for Dusan Vlahovic. That's the 6'3" striker for Juventus. Juventus only bought this player about a year ago from Fiorentina, about a year and a half ago from Fiorentina. Or was it roughly about a year ago? From Fiorentina. So he's they got him on a 4.5 a year deal. He has roughly about 3 years left on his contract. Juventus paid 70 million euros to Fiorentina on the back of Vlahovic. He was on fire. The young man, and I say young man because he's still just 23 years old. The young man blew up last season at Fiorentina. In fact, he had 2 back-to-back good seasons. I believe 2020-2021 season. Vlahovic scored 21 goals out of 37 league games, and then he followed that up with an even much better goal haul in 2021-2022 season. During the first half of the season, Dusan Vlahovic scored 17 goals out of 21 seasons. Sorry, 17 goals out of 21 games in the first half of the 2021-2022 season, and that prompted Juventus to buy him midway in that season in January of last year for 70 million euros. So this season, 2022-2023, is his first full season at Juventus, and he hasn't really had the best of years of season. I believe he scored about 10 goals in the league, but he's been interrupted by hamstring. I believe he had a couple, 1 or 2 hamstring injuries this season, and that slowed him, really slowed him up. And depending on who you ask, I've been reading up. Some Juventus fans have even gone as far as blaming Allegri and saying that his tactics has been a bit defensive and does not make full advantage of Vlahovic. So, but in any event, what's actually pushing this deal, the possibility of this deal, is the fact that Juventus has financial fireworks. They have some financial considerations or financial nightmares. I think that's the best way to put it. Juventus accountants have been sort of doing 1 or 2 financial magic with their reports. And as a result of that, Juventus directors and even some players, I mean, just a mess. They got charged with various charges for breach of financial rules, right? And as a result, Juventus was found guilty as a club by the relevant authorities, and that then resulted in Juventus being docked 15 points, right? And then as a result of them being docked, I know they subsequently appealed. I think the points may have been given back to them, but I think ultimately, last, I believe Juventus is basically being docked 15 points. If they're not being docked this year, they're going to be docked at some point in time. And Juventus still has additional, criminal, charges, potential criminal charges that are related to, financial misconduct. But from criminal point of view, that they may, based on reports, that that they may have to keep in consideration of in the near future, like within the next few months. So when you look at everything, guys, the point is that and of course, given where they are currently on the table, I believe they are currently seventh on the table. Listen, there's no Champions League. There's the possibility of Europa League is slim, and even Europa League for a club like Juventus is really not gonna make that much difference. I mean, they really need Champions League football to help balance these financial headaches. And so the point being that this all points towards one thing, right? Notwithstanding Juventus president coming out, was it yesterday, and pretty much denying all rumors. Listen, when you have to come out and say, oh, listen, we haven't received any bid, blah, 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 he's not for sale. Guess what? That means that there's somebody, so you have received some phone calls, and you have been talking behind the scene. Some people have been nudging you. Some clubs have been nudging you, and what you're trying to do is to keep all possible options open, so that what Juventus can end up with the biggest possible offer on the table. So, guys, what I'm trying to say is that Dusan Vlahovic is available this summer. Now, whether a deal is going to get done or not remains to be seen. He's being heavily linked with Chelsea. He's being heavily linked with Man U, and I believe he's also being heavily linked with Bayern Munich. So these are massive clubs. Any one of these clubs is big enough to get a deal done. But then when you have at least two, if not three, of these biggest clubs showing some various levels of interest in this player, then there's a really, really good chance that this player is most likely going to get sold this summer, in light and in consideration of the fact that Juventus is currently found themselves trapped in some financial quicksand. That how quicksand works. When you put your foot, the more that you try to wiggle your foot out of that quicksand, guess what? The more that you sink further into that quicksand. And so, when you're in quicksand, you just need somebody to throw you a rope so you can get pulled out. And that's where Juventus is right now. I mean, they just having a lot of issues, and they need one or two ropes to pull them out. Dusan Vlahovic and other highly priced assets are pretty much going to be that proverbial rope for Juventus to be pulled out so that they can find a way to, getting back towards being that old lady of in Italian, football that they are and that they've been. And, they need money. They need to balance these books. Chelsea is desperate for a, striker. And in as much as Todd Bowley has spent around £600 million over the last few months, their point being that Chelsea still has another 10 players that they're likely going to offload this summer, and just those player sales alone is going to most likely, generate a lot more than more money that's needed to sign the likes of Vlahovic and one or two other players. So, guys, how do you all feel about the possibility of Dusan Vlahovic wearing a Chelsea blue and playing for Chelsea next season? Comment below, share this video, subscribe to my channel. Take care. God bless you all. Peace.